Muchachos y muchachas, let's do a little Diddy update. And I know that there are a plethora of things that have happened in the last few weeks, and most of those are complaints, lawsuits that were filed. I'm personally making a conscious decision to slow down and just pump the brakes on every single complaint that's coming or being filed out there. And what I'm really waiting for is corroborative evidence to resurface retrospectively, such as footage or events and more details that, would align with those complaints. And this particular video fits that occasion. Now, let me preface and say that Diddy and his lawyer were scrambling on Friday, I believe, to execute a gag order on, I believe, the New York Post, because what they posted on Friday was so scandalous. And that's what got me looking that way. And what even caught my attention was the fact that Diddy was trying to get these people shut up. Now, what was published on the New York Post was a exclusively obtained trove of leaked Diddy footage, allegedly of the freak-offs. So it was, in fact, this article right in front of you that got them really scrambling about. So it reads, the headline, Sean Diddy Combs mixed star-studded bashes with raucous freak-off sex parties after VMAs and Super Bowl videos reveal. So details did review in these archives that New York Post received detailed that there were a lot of celebrities at these parties, but they didn't necessarily participate in these freak-offs. As it's quoted says, in the early morning hours of August 29, 2005, the Diddy after party from the MTV VMAs was still going strong. Actress Eva Longoria chatted with Fergie in one corner while Ice-T, Quincy Jones, NASCAR great Jeff Gordon, and Paris Hilton mingled with guests. But then it says, but one by one, the celebrities left the party. Then there's no indication they knew about or were involved in what happened next. So in saying that, according to the video footage that New York Post reviewed, there were celebrities at one point, but after a while, they left one by one. And then there was this big old sex party that happened afterward that did not indicate that those celebrities that were once there at one point were participating in this party. So this particular night, one of Diddy's parties went from a nightclub space and then moved to his Miami mansion. Again, the detail repeats that Diddy seemed to be one of the only celebrities left in the scene of this footage. One of the first disturbing scenes reveals as two white men took turns having sex with a very young black woman who clearly had white powder under her nose. Diddy could be seen in the background wearing a white t-shirt with the words, "God is the greatest," written in black. The same shirt he was photographed wearing at the VMAs after party. And then it moves on to another really disturbing scene, and I'll tell you why. It says, in another clip from the night, a couple had loud sex on a table as a group of well-dressed people stood around. This part really caught my attention because this seems a bit ritualistic in my personal opinion. Immediately when I read that detail, it straight took me to Eyes Wide Shut, a scene where all of the, I guess, Illuminati people or whatever, the masked attendees were just surrounding this one table where literally this was going on, where, people were doing some business on a table. So then the Post details that this archive of footage that they received is part of the same archive footage where, and please, this is going to be really disturbing what I'm about to say, but allegedly this footage does show that Diddy is having sex with a much younger male A-list star. And this particular, I guess, piece of footage was actually being shopped around at different news outlets, meaning that whoever had a copy of this particular footage was trying to sell it to various media outlets. Some of the videos were undated. However, there were other videos that were dated, and they did align with a lot of the events that were going on at the time, such as the 2004 and 2005 VMAs in Miami and the 2005 Super Bowl in Jacksonville. The law enforcement officer that I'm going to assume was involved in leaking this footage to the New York Post did make a comment. And that comment reads, just about everything you can imagine was happening at his parties. Now our job is to determine whether this was consensual or for everyone involved. If anyone has been trafficked and laws have been broken. Now, allegedly, there was an officer involved, which I believe who was the one who took part in leaking this footage to the New York Post, and this person made a comment. It says, just about everything you can imagine was happening at his parties. Now our job is to determine whether this was consensual for everyone involved, if anyone has been trafficked, and what laws have been broken. Continued, it's sick shit. Look, if this were just him having sex parties with a bunch of horny adults, we wouldn't be having this conversation. That's perfectly legal. But that's not what we're talking about. This man is a predator. So moving on to recent day, on Friday, it was actually Diddy, his lawyer, were asking for a gag order to be executed on the federal agents, not on the New York Post. So sorry about that detail. And basically the response issued by federal judge Aaron Subramanian was a very urgent warning to federal prosecutors and other law enforcement and officials that were working on the case to bar them from leaking any evidence because they are not supposed to. But see, that's the thing that gets me. Evidence is evidence, and this is video footage that details very depraved, very debauched things that were happening at these Diddy parties, although we don't have them in front of us. And the fact that there is some corroboration of multiple people having this archived sick footage of this young male A-list star, basically being, whatted by Diddy. It does illustrate a lot more of a disturbing environment that Diddy created for these parties. And allegedly this is being used in the investigation. So with that being said, that's just a recent update. I will keep my eyes peeled for any others. Thank you guys so much for loving this channel. Please do share it. I'll catch you guys in the next update. Bye-bye.